After all the hype about AI design, you'll never believe what gets you the best results. Prompting AI with a simple hand sketch. It's not about being a great artist, it's about learning clarity and proportion. And I'll show you exactly how to do that, and then how to use that sketch as the ultimate prompt for Nano Banana to get the precise results you want. I found this little block of wood in the shop today, and I thought it would make a great small house, maybe a simple 1.5-story vacation place. So I'm going to use this as the inspiration for the design we're going to use to prompt Nano Banana. This isn't the actual sketch we're going to use to prompt the AI. I just want to get my bearings first. So I'm going to do a very quick design sketch, starting with a loose axonometric, and I'm going to make one strong move right away. A tall 2-story glazed opening in the middle to give the building a more barn-like or playful feel. Then I'll keep the windows on either side smaller so that main move really stands out. Since this is probably one large open room at the front, I'm imagining the entry coming in from the side, with that space continuing upward and turning into a dormer for a bedroom tucked under the roof. And one of the things I love about Procreate is that you really can't make a mistake. If something isn't working, I just erase it and keep going. Next, I'm going to rough out a quick plan just to organize my thinking. Here's that double height room at the front, and I'll slide it over to the left, and that frees up the right side for the stair and a bedroom loft and a bath upstairs. And if you've ever done residential work, you know you want to get the stairs figured out early. Now let's throw in a fireplace here, and I want to show the opening from the second floor down into that main space below. And back on the first floor, I'll sketch in a kitchen and a dining table, and none of this is locked in. We're not solving the house yet. We're just playing and getting the big pieces in place. I cut ahead here, but I did throw a few quick dimensions on this first. What I want to figure out next is the entry sequence, and I want to do that early, so I'll rotate the plan so that big 2-story room is clearly at the front. My main goal here is just to make the plan feel real. So I'm going to rethink the stair and switch it to a switchback. It's more efficient, it works better next to the entry, and once that's set, the rest of the plan starts to make sense. From there, I'll jump back and forth between floors, add a bath and a closet for the bedroom upstairs, then come back down and line up a half bath and utility space below. And instead of a formal dining room, I'm going to make this an eat-in kitchen. And the whole time I'm keeping one thing in mind. That 2-story living room space is still at the heart of the house, and everything else just needs to support that. I'm going to speed this part up a lot, and your design process probably looks very different, and that's totally fine. But what I'm doing here is just testing my assumptions one more time before I move on to the perspective sketch we'll actually use to prompt the AI. I think this is great practice for any architect, sitting down and working through a design on a napkin, the back of an envelope, or even better in Procreate. It keeps the real size of things in the back of your mind at all times, and that matters when you're trying to sketch in proportion. Now, this step is optional, and I'm going to show it in case it's helpful, but I will normally have these dimensions in my head and just go right to the sketch. So we're at roughly 14-foot eaves. The building is about 25 feet square, and there's 7 or 8 feet from the eaves up to the ridge. And that's really all we need, and we are ready to make the sketch we'll actually use as the AI prompt. Now, if you've watched my videos before, you know that I usually start by sketching a scale figure, then drawing a horizon line through the head of that figure, and that gives me a known vertical dimension of 5 feet. Then I'll double that to get 10 feet and estimate everything else from there, using squares in proportion to also determine the horizontal distance of the side walls of the building as they converge back to the vanishing point. But not every sketch works the first time. In this case, the building started to feel too large for the iPad screen, which is a really common problem. So I'm going to start over and do something a little different with this sketch. I'm going to put the base of the building right on the horizon line. Now, once I've set that horizon line, I'll lay out the front of the building on the left side of the screen, and I'll start with a simple rectangle about 14 feet up to the eaves and roughly 25 feet going back. Then I'll find the center by crossing 2 diagonals and use that point to place the roof ridge, using our earlier estimates to get the height just about right. And from there, I'll sketch the right side of the house. Again, a rectangle about 14 feet high and 25 feet deep going back, knowing that it's foreshortened. This is where your eye comes in. I'm just looking for something that feels right to me right now. And with those big pieces in place, I'll add the dormer and make sure all the lines are heading toward the same vanishing point. Then I just keep building the drawing one piece at a time, moving from the big ideas down to the smaller ones, always leaning on the proportions we've already set, making sure that every parallel line converges back to the same approximate vanishing point, and using the tricks you've learned in my video to subdivide the larger shapes into the smaller units. And at a certain point, that's enough. The sketch is simple, but it's clear, and that's really all the AI needs to understand what I'm after. And what I'm really trying to preach here is that clarity is more important than some sort of artistic talent. You just need to be clear with the sketch, show the walls, show the roof slope, so that the AI can read it. But many of these sketches end up looking like children's drawings, and that's great. Now there's a couple of more quick steps here. Depending on what you're after, you may want to add some site context. So you can see me adding some mountains in the back and indicating that there's a slope down to some sort of lake here with some granite ledge outcroppings and some pine trees in the distance. And all of this is according to whatever story you want to tell or whatever fantasy you have about this building. But again, look at the simplicity of the sketch. Single lines representing stones, boulders, sailboats, steps down to the lake, and even a little person down there sunning themselves and enjoying the view. Okay, I fibbed just a little bit because there is one other important step if you're really going to get this AI image right, and I learned this the hard way, and that is you want to add some very simple tone to indicate what might be glass areas and what might be water and what, more importantly, might be the direction of the sun. So you want to show some shade. God, there's a tongue twister. So you want to show some shade, at least on one side of the building, so the AI can pick up on the direction of the sun so it can create a more realistic setting. And then, of course, you can add some foliage on the trees. But again, everything is very simple, as if a child was using a magic marker on top of the drawing. Now, if you haven't practiced sketching quite as much as I have, your building could be a little skewed. It could be a little off of the verticals. And a really simple fix for this is to go into the Actions menu to the drawing guide, and that will cause a grid to appear on your screen. Just make sure you select every layer that you've used so far, and then go to the Move and Transform menu and select Distort, and just pull the drawing over until the verticals in your sketch match the verticals on the grid that you superimpose. And then, as you know, I always like to add a border to the drawings to give both myself and the AI a sense of how much of this I'm interested in portraying in the final image. Now, I know I say this all the time, but if you go into the Actions menu and go to the Canvas tab, Canvas Information, you will see under Statistics that this entire sketch so far has taken us 12 minutes. So I'm really not exaggerating when I say this is something you can learn, and it's a very quick sketch. And as long as it's clear, this is an incredibly powerful design tool, especially for prompting AI. So there's our sketch, and here's the little block of wood we started with. Now all we need to do is export this so we can bring it into Nano Banana. I'll tap the Actions menu, choose Share, then Save to Files. I'll rename it so I can actually find it later, tap Save, and that's it. And now we're ready for the fun part. Now, before we get started here, I'm going to give you some quick organizational tips that really matter. For instance, I use one thread per design. One project, one thread. That way I can keep refining the image without confusing the AI or myself. Even if the prompts get long, it works best when everything stays in one place. I also do one other thing that might seem funny at first. I use a separate Gemini thread just to help me write the prompts, and I use dictation to do it. So I can go on at length without being self-conscious and ask it to simplify my mad ravings if they need it. My thinking is, if anyone knows how to talk to Nano Banana, it's probably Gemini. So I keep that prompt writing thread separate, then copy and paste the prompt into my actual design thread. Okay, now for the process. Come on up here to the top left of the Gemini window and click New Chat. Then come down to the lower right corner of the prompt box and make sure Gemini is in thinking mode. Next, look for Create Image. Sometimes it's right there below the prompt box. But if you don't see it, just click Tools and you'll find it in the list. Click Create Image, and that's what launches Nano Banana. Once you're here, you're ready to upload your sketch and get started. The Upload Files button lets you browse the drives on your computer, and I'll go into my iCloud drive and grab the sketch I just saved from my iPad. I'll click on that sketch prompt file number 2 and hit Upload, and that's it. And remember, all of this is written out step by step in the free download that comes with this video. First is what I call the white model phase, and this is the prompt that I'm actually using, and again, this will be in the free download, so don't worry about stopping the video and reading it. But I'm taking that sketch we just made in Procreate, and I'm telling the AI, don't guess on the material set. Just look at my lines. We're using the word generate to kick things off. Notice how I'm asking for smooth white plaster. This is the ultimate test. If the AI can get the shadows right based on my gray washes, we know the geometry is locked in. It's like a physical foam core model, but it took 3 seconds instead of 3 hours. This time I gave it a much more explicit description of the setting. I asked it to place the house on the rocky shoreline of a pristine lake in New Hampshire with a small dock, a sailboat tied up nearby, kids swimming in the water, and the White Mountains sitting quietly in the distance. And remember, I'm dictating all this. And again, what really impressed me was how much it respected the sketch. The architecture didn't get reinvented, the proportions held, the big ideas stayed intact. And finally, I wanted to see what it would do with a lighting study. And if you know my channel, you know I love turning daytime images into evening ones. There's no better way to understand a building than to see how it behaves over the course of a day. So I asked it to keep everything exactly the same, but move the scene into what photographers call the blue hour, that moment just after sunset when the air cools, the sky goes deep blue, and the lights inside begin to matter. Now the image tells a different story. A cool summer evening, friends out on the deck, kids fishing off the end of the dock, and the house glowing like a warm, welcoming lantern. And if this feels frivolous, I'd argue the opposite. Images like this are powerful storytellers. They can help clients understand a project emotionally, they can help you win work, and they're incredibly effective for marketing your ideas. The key is that the image stays useful and safe because it's grounded in a sketch you control, and that's where the real value is. If you want to go deeper with hybrid design and rendering, you will find links below to my self-guided courses and my live draw-along workshop. To see more examples of this workflow right now, click here, and I'll see you in the next video.